Welcome back and talking about Egypt, yes, unites humanity and talking about Egypt as the land of religions. Here in Egypt, we can see all religions living together, talking about Muslims, Christians, and talking about equality and stability in the country and how Egypt was mentioned in the Holy Quran as the peace haven. Well, talking about religious and historical facts as well that confirm the choice of God to Egypt to be the second home to Jesus in his childhood. Over the phone, we have Mr. Said Taha, and he is actually a tourism expert. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Said. So, first of all, talking about the root of the Holy Family here in Egypt. We knew that at that time there were many famous routes that they can follow, yet they moved on to some unknown routes to be able to hide and to be safe with Jesus.
That's right. And according the Bible, the angel appeared to Joseph, the carpenter, telling him, take the mother and the son to Egypt. And that what was known in the history of the Christian religion as a flight to Egypt. It is very known and very holy journey. They used in their journey or their flight different means of transportation. They've been walking on foot, they used donkeys, they used boat, and they didn't get the normal route or the normal, travel. They had to escape. So they've been doing like a zigzag way around in Egypt. They started from Jerusalem in the Palestine, and then they moved to what we call it nowadays, or Said, was called Farma at that time, and then to Sakha, and so on. There are so many places they passed up to further to the south in the Nile Valley, in a place we call it Asyut nowadays.
Sir, I want to talk more about the stops, the important places where they passed through in Egypt.
Yeah. All the places that they pass nowadays, you can find a holy church or at least a little chapel related with the Christian religion. We start with, for example, the highlight places, because there are so many places they passed on. Let's say here in Cairo, for example, you'll find what we call it Misr al-Qadima, or Old Cairo. On some historian books, they call it Coptic Cairo. There are so many churches there. The most important one, the Hanging Church and Abu Sirga Church, or they call it the Cavern Church. In this one, there is underneath crypt or cavern where the Holy Family escaped. And this is very interesting one, because they escaped in the fortress, the Roman fortress. That means you are escaping or you are hiding from your enemy in his house or in your enemy's house, because that Roman fortress where they've been hiding from the Roman people at that time. There is another place in Cairo as well, we call it Mataria, that's in the northeast of Cairo, nearby what we call it nowadays Heliopolis. This is a very important place because where we can find a very famous tree, we call it the Virgin tree. Another place very important and very known in Elminia, we call it Jabal el-Tair. Elminia, about 250 kilometers further to the south of Cairo or Giza, in the Nile Valley. This is very important and very known place between the Christian or the Coptic people in Egypt. That place is considered to be as a pilgrimage place for the our Christian here in Egypt. Not only in Egypt, there are some other Orthodox churches. They come from different countries and they visit this place as well. Another place very known, it's a kind of monastery in a place we call it El Maharrak in Asyut. And I think this name derived from the Arabic word Maharrak, means it's very hot there. From the very high degrees of the heat. That place is very known and very old. All these mentioned places regarding Abu Makar in Alexandria, regarding in Misr al-Qadim or Old Cairo, regarding a very known place also in Maadi, in Sakha, in a place we call it Kafr Sheikh Governorate in the Nile Delta. As we are mentioning this different place, if you look at the map, you will find those places is not aligned in one straight line. No, it's a kind of zigzag line going around and going on and then the back and so on. All this journey took about 4 years. The way coming from Bethlehem or Jerusalem up to Asyut and then in the way back. The way coming to Egypt, they took, as I said, from the northeast through Sinai to Port Said and then up to Asyut. And then their way back, they took another route, not close to the river Nile or the Nile Valley, no, through the desert. That's why we can find a lot of paintings talking about this journey. Some of them showing, religious paintings, or we call them icons. Those icons, they show Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ as a child, of course, with hair. Sometimes you'll find them riding a donkey, and Joseph the carpenter walking with them, holding like a little bag. It's not a kind of bag, it's a kind of big towel tied in a bag form, holded by a stick upon his shoulder. Actually, they call it in Arabic language bu'ga or sirga, like that famous saint in Old Cairo, Abu Sirga. There are another icons represent them riding or going or sailing in a little canoe, not that boat, it's the small canoe. Rowing canoe in the river Nile. Sometimes you will find them walking all together around the Virgin Mary holding the baby, and they are walking around. Of course, this is very important because they've been helped by the Egyptians. And back to the story, the main story, we knew the reason why they had to flee or to leave from Jerusalem to Egypt. As a governor there or the Roman ruler, he knew that one of the children that be born in this year is going to get him out from his power or his throne. That's why he ordered the killing of all the children being born in this year. That's why, according to the Bible, the angel appeared to Joseph the carpenter, telling him, take the son and the mother to Egypt. This is very known story and very whole story. All these details of the story, you can find them in the famous icons hanging on the church, like in anywhere in Egypt, in the churches. The very famous thing in the Egyptian church or the Coptic church that you can find more paintings than like figures. Not like in the Catholic Church, you can find figures and the statues, but in the Coptic Church, more paintings than sculpture or than statues.
Right, Mr. Sayed Taha, tourism expert, thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for all the details you gave us regarding the route of the Holy Family to Egypt. Well, moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back with more on The Breakfast Show.